Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Rup Goswami Prabhupada ki, Shri Rup Manjari ki jai, Shri Shivada Giridhari ki jai, Shri Chandan Yatra ki jai, Shri Pushpa Abhishek ki jai, Nivashandam ki jai, Go Premanandi, Haribol, all glories to Shri Prabhupada, Haribol. Thank you all very much. We'd like to carry on for another few hours, but that's life. We're all controlled by time, and Krishna's time, so we want to be controlled by Krishna. So we try to utilize our time fully in Krishna's service. Don't forget, time is another form of Krishna. And every moment we waste means we're wasting our opportunity to, let's say, serve Krishna. Don't waste time. Mobile microphone here, but never mind, I'll hold it. So today, being the appearance day of Narottam Das, Prabhu Thakur, we haven't got much time, 10-15 minutes. We just speak a few words. Whatever inspiration, mercy comes our way by your blessings. But it's very important. We may, or most of you are from Indian descent, one way or another, here and there. And everyone's familiar with Rama and Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna, and so on like that. Not so much with the devotees. We've all heard of Hanuman and Arjuna and so on and so forth. Ganesh, just one, so many representatives of the Lord. But very few people have heard of Narottam Das Thakur. And those who are regulars, of course, will have heard of him. He's prominent, as we mentioned earlier, and very special in the Sankirtan. The Sankirtan is literally, it means complete glorification of the Lord. It's also described to mean the process which we, members of the devotional line of Vaishnavas, emphasize is the system of chanting the glories of Krishna, the loud recitation of the holy names of God in congregation is usually known as Sankirtan. It may take various forms, etc., but in principle. So amongst the Sankirtan, let's say, proponents in recent history, Narottam Das is very, very, very significant. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, another great Acharya in our line, maybe more familiar with him, describes the effect of hearing about these eternal associates of the Lord, known as Parishads and Nityasiddhas, the tremendous effect of hearing about them. Even if we don't understand, even if we don't have any idea of what their significance is, simply hearing about them has this imperceptible effect on our consciousness. Just like when we hear the holy name of Krishna, even a bum, I don't know if that's the word you use here, it's an American term, on the street, has no idea what's going on, and then they come and they hear the holy name of Krishna, and they say, they go like this, with a bottle of beer in one hand and cigarette, if they're rich enough, in the other hand, and they start to dance around. They get imperceptible benefit. They have no idea what's going on. But by hearing about the pure devotees, it is more pleasing to Krishna. It's like when you hear your child or your very close friend or something very dear to us being glorified. We feel so happy more than if someone glorifies us, if we really love them. So Krishna really loves us all, but he especially loves his pure devotees. So to glorify the pure devotees is even more, believe it or not, even more pleasing to Krishna than to directly please him. So Narottam Das Thakur, the Bhaktivinoda says, how many of you would like to be enthusiastic? Enthusiastic. Not many. Good Lord. No wonder we're having some problems around here. Well, if you do or don't, if you hear about him, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you will develop enthusiasm and determination in your devotional lives, hopefully not in your material lives, but in your spiritual lives. And you will develop, how many of you feel you lack confidence? Little lack of confidence sometimes. Only one person in the whole room. That means everyone else lacks confidence except for that one person who's honest. We all lack a bit of confidence or courage. Courage, confidence related. You will develop that also. And who would like satisfaction? I know the Rolling Stones are still looking for it, but anyone else would like to be satisfied? I have more hands now. I'm not even sure about it, rather than some of you are not really sure. You like being miserable, right? Okay. Anyway, you can become satisfied. So if you do not want to be satisfied, I suggest you go for a walk for 10 minutes. But Narottam Das is one of those eternal associates, just by their presence, brings all auspiciousness, all wonderful qualities, because he said he's a reservoir of good qualities. He's a reservoir of love of God. So his appearance, which we may not have much time for much more, but we'll just briefly mention his appearance in this world. One time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling. Lord Chaitanya's form, the devotional form of love of Godhead, the Lord in the form of Lord Chaitanya is the personification of love of Krishna. And he was traveling with Nityananda and other devotees in Bengal. And they were specifically going to see Rup and Sanatan. They were two ministers in the government, and they were eternal associates of the Lord, but they were at that time not manifesting their eternal relationship. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to meet them. And very close to there is the river in Bangladesh now, called the river Padma. Some of you are familiar with this river. It's an extraordinarily big river, especially in the rainy season. And on the other side of that river is a village, small town called Keturi. So Lord Chaitanya was on the western bank, Keturi is on the eastern bank, and Lord Chaitanya started to chant loudly, Narottam, 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 Narottam. There he was, Narottam. My voice is like a frog. If I could be a frog in the river Padma, I'd be very lucky. Sound like one. Anyway, others were wondering, what is Lord Chaitanya? Who is he calling? His greatest personality. So Nityananda could understand that it sounds like sooner or later some great personality is likely to appear. Lord Chaitanya then revealed to Nityananda, yes, in Keturi, in the future, in our very lifetime, although they may not personally see us, in our very lifetime, a great personality named Narottam will appear there in Keturi. And he said, he will be the embodiment of my Sankirtan prema, full Sankirtan love. This is not ordinary Sankirtan. It's called Nam Sankirtan Prem. It's the full of the spiritual realm. It's not like we're practicing here. We're trying to associate with this Sankirtan movement. But that Sankirtan has descended, Golokara Premadana Harinama Sankirtan, into this material world. And is brought by these pure devotees, or by the Lord himself, as Lord Chaitanya, full, in the purest sense, in the spiritual realm, where Sankirtan is the constant absorption of all the resonance of the Dham. So he would be a full embodiment of my prema, my Sankirtan prema. And he said, you, Nityananda, have to act like his guru, directing him to receive this prema. And how will he receive it? Lord Chaitanya said, I will deposit all of this Sankirtan prema right here in the river Padma. And then Lord Chaitanya entered into the river, and the river overflowed its banks in ecstasy. In absolute ecstasy, embracing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and imbibing all that ecstasy. And how will that be? Nityananda said, how will that be given to Narottam? How will he receive it? He said, Narottam, you have to direct him on a certain time to come when he appears to this river and take his bath. At that time we receive it. And the river Padma will say, how will I recognize that personality when he comes, the person I'm to give this prema which you deposited in me? How will I recognize him? And Lord Chaitanya said to the river Padma, she came in a personified form, Padmavati, and Lord Chaitanya said, when you feel on the ecstasy you felt today, and your banks overflowed, that will be Narottam. So due course of time, Narottam appeared, the son of Krishnananda, one local king, a landowner, powerful, important person in that area. And he appeared. He was his pet son, or the only son, very, very pampered as usual. And but right from birth, Narottam was not interested in material life. He had all the signs of a Mukta Purush. One of them has long, beautiful arms and lotus-like eyes, beautiful. His whole body features were just super attractive. Darkish, very darkish complexion, almost like Krishna's complexion, but super beautiful and super intelligent. Right from of course he had to go to school like all other kids, and he was a Shrutidar, everything. You just learn like that. I don't know. I'm sure you'd all like your kids to be Shrutidar. They go to school and learn whatever they hear. They remember it just like that. Huh? You can't even now. If we ask you what I just said, you won't be able to remember it, right? Even 10 seconds ago, we can't remember it. Kali Yuga is like so heavy, so hard to remember things, Baba said that remembering means to write it down, remembering to write it down, But anyway, he was Sridhar. He could just one time hear one and remember permanently. A brilliant scholar, totally attracted to Krishna consciousness, wasn't really interested, always thinking of how to go away and join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, his parents didn't let him go. They had guards on him, keeping him home. But anyway, one night, Nityananda appeared before him in a vision, and guided him to go down. So in the night, he went down to the river Padma, and very darkish complexion. He went down at night and entered into the Padma. And lo and behold, sure enough, the Padma, the complete ecstasy, her banks overflowed. She embraced Narottam and completely, transferred that prema into the being of Narottam Das. His whole complexion changed. He became shining golden complexion. Just like Lord Chaitanya, he became golden. Absolutely unbelievable. And then he was rolling on the banks till the morning came, crying out the names of Krishna, Krishna, Gauranga, Gauranga. He was going mad. Nobody knew who he was because he didn't look like the same boy. Now he was golden. And the parents saw in the morning he's gone, he's escaped. They sent their guards out. Eventually, some guards came to the bank. They saw this boy, and who is this? And eventually they realized this is Narottam. But he's already been transformed. Now he's mad in love of God and completely overwhelmed in Sankirtan Prema. Anyway, we got another 5 minutes. We could go a little bit longer, but we won't. And anyway, after some time, he was always trying to leave, obviously. He wanted to go to join the devotees, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes were no longer manifest at that time. He'd left the world, if you want to call it that. So he'd heard about Rupa and Sanatan, who had also retired and gone to Vrindavan, another great devotee. He was hankering to go there. And actually, before this event, it's very interesting. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Bengal, had ordered one devotee named Lokanath Goswami, one of a great devotee, to go to Vrindavan, even before all the other Goswamis. Go there and start finding the places of Krishna's pastimes, establishing the way. And he said, one thing is, in the future, I want you to initiate one disciple. And his name will be Narottam. And so he'd already given that instruction as far as Narottam's spiritual future goes. So then, again, Nityananda appeared to him in a vision and told him, now you must go to Vrindavan. But how to go? He was being kept practically under lock and key by his family. But at one time, one local king, one local Raj, wanted to see him. He'd heard about him being such an amazing devotee of Krishna and such a learned person. And he wanted to see him. And so the father had no choice. He was the big king, wasn't the little one. So he had to go there. And Narottam took advantage of this opportunity. He saw a little loophole. He was in the court of the king, or in the king's palace. He saw a little chance to escape. And he escaped, and that was it. Never turned back again. Many stories, but we have no time, of his journey to Vrindavan. Eventually, he reached Vrindavan, but when he reached Mathura, he heard the Rupa, Sanatan had already departed, Raghunath, Bhatta, Parameshwar. They'd all departed the world. Many of the persons he was hankering to see The desire to associate with a devotee is so important. To associate, and that doesn't just mean, hi, how are you? Good on you. How are you doing today? It means coming together with Krishna in the center, reminding each other of our spiritual position and our relationship with Krishna. We're going to have Deena Bhandhu Prabhu in a few minutes, and that's his whole life is based on that, as you all know, in Vrindavan. He just takes everyone into the Dham, not just a little tour around the sites, but he takes you right in there, as if you're actually there. That's what it's for. Krishna consciousness, not just about hearing about things, is living it. It's actually being there, entering into the Sankirtan movement. Not just, oh, that was nice. Maybe I'll come next week. Next year. It's a constant. 24 hours. Kirtaniya Sadahari, Narottam Das was so much devastated when he heard they'd all departed. They'd all left, but they appeared to him. These great personalities, Rupa and Satan, appeared to him mystically and said, don't be deterred. Go forward. Go forward. You take shelter of Jiva, our younger nephew of Rupa. You take shelter of him in Vrindavan. So he went forward and met with Jiva Goswami. And then, of course, later with Lokanath. That's amazing pastime of how he took initiation from Lokanath Goswami. If you think it's hard enough today, I don't know about in Auckland, maybe it's easy here. Some temples you have to wait 5 years, 6 years, take 50 exams, and so on and so forth. Maybe a bit easier here in Auckland, I hope. But anyway, he had to really pass the test. The test wasn't a written one, by the way. Anyone can do that. You can be a Mayavadi and pass the test very easily if you can remember the right answers. It's not like that. It's a consciousness. Initiation means a change of heart, complete surrender, menial service, willing to do anything to please Krishna and his devotees, sacrificing our independence. Ooh, that's a difficult one. But Narottam, he passed the test after a couple of years of real severe testing, but Lokanath Goswami was not willing to initiate. He said, I'm not going to initiate anyone. I'm not qualified. He would make all kinds of excuses. And Narottam tried everything he could. Eventually, Lord Chaitanya had to appear before Lokanath to convince him, look, I told you, you have to initiate him. All right, but no one else, he said. Eventually initiate him, accept him as disciple. And Narottam then, of course, was Siksha disciple of Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami accepted no Diksha disciple. Nobody. Only Siksha, which is the living force of devotional service, to get the instructions of the pure devotees of the Lord to guide us in our lives. We're not here to make material successes only. We're here to go back to Godhead. So Siksha is the key feature. So then Narottam Das, on the order of his Siksha Guru, the blessings of his Diksha Guru, was sent together with Shyamananda Pandit and Srinivasacharya on a great mission. The first traveling Sankirtan party, book distribution party, was sent out by Jiva Goswami. That wasn't a very loud recognition. You know what book distribution means? I'm sure many of you have been involved. I hear you did a lot of book distribution in December. I've never seen the scores, but I heard. It's the prime way that our Gurudev established to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the whole world, to distribute transcendental literatures en masse. So they were the first traveling party. It's a long story, we'll not get into it. But they went off on a bullock cart with all manuscripts, caskets of manuscripts of the Goswami's writings, to go to Bengal to present this complete, explanation of devotional service at all levels. Phenomenal contributions. Nothing was written, nothing was printed in those days, written on palm leaves and so on. No printing presses were hardly started, maybe just beginning. But now, boom, we accept it, take it for granted, but it wasn't like that then. This is a big thing. The party was going all the way by bullock cart from Vrindavan to Bengal. They got pilfered, but eventually everything was fine. They reached Bengal. This is, of course, Lord Chaitanya and Janananda. They've all departed the world by now. Janava was still around, but they reached Bengal and they went their different ways. Eventually, Narottam went back to Kaituri and started to preach there. was so many people were taking initiation from all that part of India, even Brahmins. He wasn't born Brahmin. He was born in, kind of like what they call it, Kayasta or something, some other type of family. Very intelligent, but not Brahmins. But he was given initiation to Brahmanas. This was a really sensitive issue. In fact, it came to the attention of the local Brahmins in the whole area. They started to get, boy, who does he think he is? He's not even a Brahmin, and he's initiating Brahmins. This is terrible. This is against the Vedas. They challenged. They went to the big king, and he said, well, I don't know about these things, but we have to find out. So they wrote to him, and Narottam wrote back with all the right answers, but still they were not convinced. Okay, we'll go there and, challenge him and see what's going on here. So all these big Sanskrit pandits, they all marched off towards Keturi with the king, and they reached the precincts of Keturi, just like they reached Kumail on the way to Auckland or something. They were on the outskirts of the city. And then this news came to the followers of Narottam, some of those like Ganga Narayan and Ramchandra Kaviraj, who were Brahmin born, initiated by Narottam. They heard about this, so they made a plan. So they disguised themselves as ordinary, what do you call it, shopkeepers in what do you say, wallahs, one selling clay pots and one selling pan. Some of you men know what pan is. And it's not the thing you fry your spices in, something you put in your mouth, and And so they set up stores just outside the town, because when pilgrims or people come in, they, especially even Brahmins, they chew on their pan a little bit. They set up these various pots and pans and different things, pots and pans. And when they got there, they stopped on the outskirts to get a little refreshment and buy a few things. So they went to these storekeepers and they started asking them how we want some pots and this and that. And the storekeepers replied in Sanskrit. What is this? Storekeepers speaking fluent Sanskrit, not just so eloquent Sanskrit. I started talking to them and they started to philosophize. And these this clay pot seller was defeating these Brahmins in philosophy. And what's going on here? He's no ordinary. So then the king noticed this. He said, wait a minute. Rupnarayan was the head of the Brahmins. He said, you better talk to these guys and see what's going on around here. So Rupnarayan then spoke to these pot keepers and pan salesmen and what have you. And they defeated him left and right. And they were totally embarrassed. The king said, if even sweepers and pot sellers in this village can defeat you, what will happen if you meet Narottam himself? And then they revealed themselves as humble disciples of Narottam, so then they all left defeated, and life went on. And he finally left the world. He organized this incredible festival called the Keturi Festival, usually. Gaur Purnima, very significant festival. We have every year a festival in March called Gaur Purnima. It was basically started as a festival by Narottam Das, together with his own. He had many relatives. Santosh was his cousin, and he was also very rich, and many others came. Srinivas, they all came to help organize this grand festival. Janavama, Nityananda's consort. Amazing festival. And what was the purpose of this festival? They invited all the Vaishnavas from all over India to come, to bring unity, proper understanding of what it means, devotional service to the Lord. There were many devious interpretations, concoctions, bringing everyone together united with this incredible kirtan. Kirtan. This Keturi festival was the first official Gaur Purnima festival. So this is really a festival of unity. So I do have to finish. We won't talk about the departure. It's the appearance day today. And Hare Krishna. Shri Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai! Hare Krishna! And now we're going to hear some other nectar taking us even further into the ocean of devotion. Deena Bhandhu Prabhu Ki Jai!
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prasatiri Satarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyashta kripasinnu vevata patitanam pavanebhyo namebhyo namo namah. So today is a very, very special day. It is Magh Purnima. This month in Vrindavan is very, very cold. So this means the cold month is over now. Things will start to warm up. And this is big in Allahabad. Big festival is there every year. Every 12 years, then Kumbh Mela. But Magh Mela goes on and finishes with Magh Purnima. And as we heard, it is the holy appearance day, of Narottam Das Thakur. And so today here, since it's down here under in Patala Loka, it happens to be summertime. So we're doing Chandan Yatra. And in a few minutes, we're going to have a very wonderful festival, Pushpa Abhishek. So this Chandan Yatra festival causes us to remember Madhavinda Puri. He was a great devotee who was imbued with love of Godhead. Ecstatic love of Godhead. And he came to Vrindavan and he did Giriraj Prikrama. And he came to a beautiful place called Govindakund. If you ever do Giriraj Prikrama, one of the most beautiful places, big, huge kund is there. Behind Giriraj is very tall. When you first come and you see Giriraj, you'll be disappointed. You don't see anything. It's not till you get all the way down to Govindakund, then you see him starting to rise very gloriously. It's a hill, and there's nothing there. Then now that end is the tail. So the tail of the peacock is very big. So you get glorious darshan Giriraj there. Hello, Giriraj Maharaj ki. So he is sitting by the kund and remembering the pastimes of Krishna. And Madhavinda Puri had a rule that he didn't ask anybody for anything. If somebody gave him something to eat, he ate. If they didn't offer anything to eat, then he didn't eat. Not like us. We're sitting here. When's this guy going to shut up so we can go downstairs and take prasad? So he was just sitting there. He didn't ask anybody for anything. But a lovely little cowherd boy came and said, "Why are you fasting? Nobody in my village fasts. Everybody has plenty to eat. If they don't, they go to others and beg. Nobody fasts in my village. You please take this milk." He said, "How did you know I was here?" "Well, the cowherd women, when they went to milk the cows, they saw you sitting here, so they sent this pot of milk. I have to go bring my cows home, so I'll come back and get the pot." So Madhavinda Puri thought, this is very nice. He got this milk. He offered it to Krishna. Then he tasted it without even any sugar. It tasted so sweet, ambrosia. And he drank this milk down and he was chanting his japa, waiting for that boy to return. And the boy never came. Away in the wee hours of the morning, he nodded out. When he nodded out, that boy returned in his dream. Said, "Madhavinda Puri, Madhavinda Puri." The Mughal soldiers came and the pujari threw me in the bushes and ran away. And I'm here in the bushes, in the heat, in the cold, in the rain, in the sandstorms. Oh, please rescue me, Madhavinda Puri. Please rescue me. So in the morning, he called everybody from the village, which was known as Anyor. And he said, "The Lord of this village has appeared. Bring all your digging instruments and cutting instruments." And they went, they cut all the brambles away, and very soon they found this beautiful deity of Gopal. with his left hand raised high in the air, holding up Govardhan Hill. And everybody was astonished. Huge deity was there. And so they cleared away all the brambles, and they got Gopal, and they went up on top of Govardhan Hill, and they leaned a rock there, and they leaned the deity up against the rock, and then they called all the Brahmins, they began cooking. Meanwhile, they brought thousands of pots of water from Govindakund and began to bathe the deities. Somebody put some grass mats and made a temporary little temple there, and then they cooked so much boga, and they made this offering. And Madhavendra Puri did arti. He put another straw mat in front of the temple to put Lord to rest. In this way, one village after another would come and do this festival of Annakut. Anna means grain, and Kut means mountain, just like we all know Chitrakoot. So every day they were coming to this festival. Then again, Gopal came in his dream. He said, Madhavendra Puri, still my body is not cool. I was for so long in the strong heat of Vrindavan. You must go to Puri and bring some Malayan sandalwood. Only that, if you grind that and put it on my body, I will be satisfied. So that day, those days, there was no Indigo Airlines. It wasn't that he was just going to jump on a flight to Bhubaneswar and get a taxi to Puri. He had to walk all the way across the northern part of India. Eventually, he came to a very beautiful place called Remuna. And there he saw the beautiful deity of Shirchor Gopinath. And he was enchanted by the beauty. And then he found out that they offered a special offering, sweet, to the deity, to Shirchor Gopinath. It was Shir. Now in Bengali we pronounce Shir as Kheer, but Shir means milk. I'll have you know, there's not one grain of sweet rice, despite what our Chaitanya Charitamrita says, not one grain of rice in it. It's sweetened, condensed milk. It's Shirchor Gopinath. Every time I go there, I have to listen to all the pujaris and people that buy your Chaitanya made sweet rice. If you go there, you'll see the Amrita Keli is the most wonderful, sweetened, condensed milk, cooked down very sweet. So he thought, let me taste it, and I will make a similar offering for my Gopal. Then he thought, just see, Lord hasn't even taken his prasad, his boga, and I'm already enjoying. So he went to the marketplace and sat down and decided to fast. Meanwhile, the pujari, he offered the 12 pots, and he didn't notice that he only recollected 11. Then the pujari put the Lord to rest, and he closed up the temple, and Lord came to him in a dream. He said, behind my dress, you'll find there's one more pot. I have stolen it for my great devotee, Madhavendra Puri. So the pujari took a bath. He ran into the temple room. He looked behind Gopinath's cloth. There was this one little pot of sheer. Then he grabbed that pot. He ran to the marketplace. It was all closed, but Madhavendra Puri was chanting there. So who is that Brahmin known Madhavendra Puri? Who is that person? You're so fortunate. The Lord has stolen this sweet rice for you. Even I'm getting mixed up. The sheer for you. And Madhavendra Puri identified himself, and he gave him this Amrita Keli. And Madhavendra Puri, he ate that sheer mixed with his tears, and he broke the clay pot, and he kept the pieces in his cloth. And every day he would take a little piece of that pot, and he would feel the same ecstasy. His hair would stand on end, everything. Then he went to Puri, but his fame had followed him there. Although he didn't want any fame, but devotees don't want fame, but somehow fame just follows them. So it was very easy for him to get permission from the king to get the sandalwood. So he got all this sandalwood and camphor and so many things, and the king gave him all the papers of all the guards along the road. I wouldn't stop because there's sometimes these tax booths here and there. They gave him all the papers, and he got back to Ramuna. When he got to Ramuna, Gopal came in his dream. He said, there's no difference between myself and Gopal. I don't want you to trouble yourself and walk again all the way across northern India. You grind that Chandan, mix it with camphor, and you smear it on my body. In Vrindavan as Gopal, I will enjoy the coolest of that sandalwood. So he instructed all the pujaris, this is Gopal's order, and they were very happy to get this Chandan. And every day for 21 days, they would smear the body of Gopal with this wonderful Chandan and camphor and so many things. In Vrindavan, this festival is only one day. In Puri, I think they do it for 21 days. We see on our calendar. But in Vrindavan, just one day. All the Thakurjis of Vrindavan, Gaudiya Thakurjis anyway, they have nothing but Chandan and Chandan and Chandan and Chandan. Not one stitch of cloth. Even they make somehow the effulgence behind Thakurji's head out of Chandan, and everything, all the cloth is made out of Chandan. Sometimes we're amazed, just like I always used to, I'm very sad if I'm not there, but every year on that day we take all the devotees on Harinam, and we go through all the town, and we go to Madan Mohan and all the temples. We come to Radharaman. And Radharaman, he's wearing this beautiful yellow velvet with beautiful silver trim all around it, everything. They said, why are they not doing Chandan Yatra here? And then after a while, I suddenly realized they have mixed kesher, saffron, in the Chandan. And that's actually Chandan. And they put, I guess, banana leaf or something. It looks just like, see the little coat like this, all Chandan, his crown is Chandan. Only his face, they don't put any Chandan in his face. The rest of the deities, all you see is the eyes. Best temple is, downtown is Radha Shyam Sundar downtown. They make little stars and little diamond shapes. They carve it, little fringes like this, beautiful little pants they make out of the Chandan, and garlands and amulets and bracelets, and it's just incredible what they do. I know the other temples are trying to catch up, and we've also learned the trick. And in Krishna Balaram Mandir, we take some dark-colored Chandan and some light-colored Chandan, and we make different highlights with the light-colored Chandan. It's very, very ecstatic. So all over Vrindavan, this Chandan Yatra festival is going on. And this is, in Vrindavan, it's 40 degrees at least. This April, May, it was, we're opposite, So 40 degrees at least, So Lord feels very, very happy to get this Chandan. So we go around to all the temples and see this wonderful Chandan Yatra festival. So today we're very fortunate, Radha Giridhari. I've never seen green Chandan. I've seen yellow Chandan and Radha Ramanji. But I've never seen green Chandan like this, And they put with a lighter colored Chandan, we make gopi dots in both our Radha Shyam Sundar and downtown Radha Shyam, they make gopi dots and so many beautiful decorations. So today we're celebrating this wonderful Chandan Yatra festival here in our Radha Giridhari temple. And all of you, and now we're going to do Pushpa Abhishek, bathing the Lord with flowers. We saw when we came in, all the ladies were busy pulling apart all the flowers and getting everything ready. So Sri Chandan Yatra ki! So we're all very fortunate to be here on this Magh Purnima day to witness this wonderful Chandan Yatra festival. And now we're going to do Pushpa Abhishek.
I asked my dear friend Arjun to sing. This is Narottam Das Thakur's appearance day. He's got a beautiful song about Radha Krishna. So I'll ask him to please sing his beautiful song with Narottam Das Thakur.
Krishna
Krishna.